Hi, I'm Peter MacDonald, and I just finished up my baking and put the last sheet of cookies in the oven. And so now I'm going to take some time and read my little story from The House of Wooden Santas by Kevin Major. "22 days to Christmas." When Jesse's eyes were closed, the Santa did seem real. Or was it a dream? Did he see the light flicker in the fellow's lantern? The next morning he ran from the bedroom only to find his mum sound asleep on the sofa. She had a book on her stomach and her finger between the pages. She was in the same clothes she had been wearing the night before. His eyes jumped to the mantel. Santa with the lantern was gone, but in his place was another guy. It looked to be Santa nestled in an armchair. Jesse stepped closer and discovered an open book in his lap. Jesse looked at his mother and banged the foot against the brass guard in front of the fireplace. Her breathing fluttered. He banged it harder, and she woke. "Oh, gosh," she said. "I don't even remember closing my eyes." She sat up. "I told you he'd be back. The House of Wooden Santas has a fellow who sure loves books. Good old reading Santa. I'd say this guy hardly turns on a television." Jesse's head swiveled to another part of the room, to where the TV was supposed to be. "Again?" he yelled. "And this time it's not coming back." "Mom!" I thought it over very carefully and decided it's best for both of us. Maybe now there are other things you could be doing. "No TV, not even one program?" "Not one." Jesse moaned. "Sick. And that means video games too. Ugh, really sick. It'll be fun. You'll have lots of things to do." Jesse rigidly sat on the sofa. He tried to imagine his world without television. What would he do while he was waiting for supper? What would he do on Saturday morning? What would he do in the middle of a snowstorm? "Oh, boring," he told his mother. "Extremely and absolutely boring." "Santa doesn't think so." Jesse turned his eyes to the mantel. The fellow did look happy, but only because his mother had made him that way. And besides, he didn't get dragged away to live in some place where there was never anything to do. "I bet you can't do it," his mother said. Jesse knew what his mother was up to and wasn't about to fall into a trap. He sat on the sofa and hardly moved. He pretended not to hear a thing she was saying. The longer she talked, the more he stiffened, until she gave up and went to the kitchen to make pancakes. At the breakfast table, just as he was pouring on the syrup, his mother said, "This is Sunday, so what do you say we go to church?" Jesse didn't reply. "Maybe we'll see someone we know. Maybe you'll see some of your friends from school." Jesse sneered. "I don't have any." Church did turn out to be better than Jesse expected. The pews were as hard as those in his old church, but the music was a lot better. There was even a guitar and drums, and sometimes people clapped their hands to the songs. After the service, Jesse's mother dragged him off to the social hour in the church basement. He had just bitten into a chocolate cupcake when he realized Miss Wenzel was standing next to them. "Good morning," the landlady said to his mother. She was looking grouchier, Jesse thought, than she did with a yappy dog in her arms. "Good morning." "And how is your business doing?" "It's a bit early yet, but with Christmas and all, I expect it to pick up, Mrs. Wenzel. Any day now." "I hope so, for your sake and the boys." "I'm sure it will. You can't expect to raise a child without a steady income. Mrs. Wenzel looked at Jessie, whose mouth was full of cupcake. It was so full, in fact, that the crumbs were starting to spill down his chin. She handed him a napkin. "Thank you," Jessie mumbled. That caused a spurt of more crumbs. "Jobs are not easy to come by these days," his mother said to Mrs. Wenzel. "I know that well enough. My daughter had to go all the way to Vancouver." "That's a shame. And you won't get to see your granddaughter this Christmas?" Mrs. Wenzel just frowned and left. She hadn't even finished her tea, Jessie noticed. She went out the door, past the minister, who had just walked into the room. The minister joined Jessie and his mother. She held out her hand. "Michelle Agnew," she said to her mother. She smiled broadly at Jessie. "I'm the leader of the flock." Jessie gave her a strange look. "I'm no sheep," he said, "and nobody can pull the wool over your eyes, right?" The two women laughed. Jessie forced a smile. Until tomorrow.